Welcome to Primal Armor, a podcast centered on helping each and every listener strive for a healthier tomorrow. I'm your host, Jeff Kimple, and I'll be covering every aspect within the field of health, helping you build that strong foundation for improving your physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and more. It's time to take your personal wellness into your own hands, and Primal Armor is going to help you reach those goals. I just want to thank you for taking the time today to tune in and listen to today's topic. Enjoy. Before we get started into the episode, I just want to take a few seconds to thank today's sponsor, Anchor Podcasts. They allow me to create and edit these podcasts for you guys. They're also the ones who distribute this podcast to other platforms such as Spotify and the Apple Podcast app on your phone, so you guys can listen to it anywhere at any time. It's everything needed all in one app. I encourage you all to get started today. Go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and follow the podcast. We're back again for the 11th podcast. Today's topic that we're going to discuss is why it's your responsibility to take care of your health. We're just too reliant as a society to look on modern medicine as the fix to all of our problems. We have made so many advancements over the last 100 years that they can do just about anything to keep us alive. But in reality, though, is it that quality of a life to be hooked up to all these machines and take all these medications just to stay alive? Doctors can do some crazy things these days, but they often have to because of how we have neglected our bodies. We have problems with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes and blood sugar problems, overactive or inactive thyroid, tons of hormonal imbalances, and more. The doctors just prescribe a pill to mask all the problems, but they never address the root of the problem. Whether it's a serious medical necessity to even just a simple migraine, taking medication is only going to delay the problem. You have to dive deep down to figure out what is causing this in your body. Doctors simply just don't do this anymore. They cram too many patients into their workday, and it's more about quantity over quality. Disclaimer though, some doctors are not like this, and I'm not saying all doctors are bad, but many of them are, so you cannot trust them with your own personal health. You have to be able to take it into your own hands. So are you having some terrible stomach pains or some headaches lately? Look at your diet and see if you can correlate it to something you're eating. Are you getting terrible migraines? Check the ingredient label on your food. Does it read monosodium glutamate, or MSG? This is a common food additive that enhances flavor in all of our foods, but it just doesn't agree well with most people's bodies. So instead of dealing with the migraines, we just take a simple pill to mask the problems. But you should just be trying to eliminate things like this from your diet. Your body's giving you a sign like, hey, I don't like this. Quit feeding me this. If you're just masking the symptoms with the medication, then you're not fixing the root of the problem, and you're just delaying it to feel all those symptoms later. If you have high blood pressure and high cholesterol, that's also diet related, mainly based on eating greasy foods loaded with saturated fat. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars every month taking medication to mask the symptoms of clogged arteries and an overworking heart, fix up your diet, start exercising, become healthier. This will save you tons of money in the long run of medications and doctor's visits, and it'll also make you feel a lot better. Now don't even get me started on diabetes. I hear so many people complaining every day that they have to inject themselves with insulin. Type 2 diabetes is the most preventable disease that there is. It's basically a fat person's disease. Tell me one person that you know who exercises and eats right who still has type 2 diabetes. Exactly. If you can control your diet with added sugars and exercise to help redistribute how you transport and utilize these carbohydrates, then your pancreas and insulin production in your body will be regulated, and you do a better job at controlling the natural blood sugars that you have without having to give yourself daily injections. Another one I always hear people say is, I have a thyroid problem. And while I know that there are some people who do have thyroid problems out there, but it's not prevalent as people make it out to be. Many people just use it as an excuse to take the easy road out. But you know what? Taking your health seriously isn't always easy. If it was, everyone would be healthy. Obesity wouldn't be a thing, and many of these medications wouldn't need to exist. we'd be a much more functional society. But that's not the case. So instead of making excuses, make a plan of action to achieve what you want to be. Instead of blaming things on a thyroid problem, step up and do something to change your lifestyle. Even if you do have a thyroid problem, weight control comes down to one simple equation: calories in versus calories out. And there's no other way around that. If you are taking in less calories than you are using, you cannot gain weight. I don't care if you have a thyroid problem or not. It's impossible to gain weight without excess calories. Being overweight is neglecting your body, and no medication and no doctor will be able to fix that. You can get liposuction or a lap band to lose the weight, but it doesn't change the lifestyle habits that got you that place in the first point. You have to be in control, and you have to take responsibility because it's your health. A doctor prescribing you a handful of pills isn't going to do the trick. It's your actions that are going to make a difference. This can also be applied to injuries, aches, and pains as well. If you're having terrible joint pains and the doctor's solutions are just to give you a cortisone shot and send you on your way, then you need to find a different doctor. There are things that can fix these problems, such as strengthening the surrounding muscles and developing better movement patterns. Physical therapy does wonders. It can fix both of those problems, not just mask the pain for a few weeks with a cortisone shot. Doctors usually don't prescribe exercise as a treatment, though. They usually just give you some painkillers and tell you to rest. But that doesn't fix what caused the problem in the first place. You have to find the root of the problem, or the pain is just going to come back right as soon as you get on your feet again. Pain doesn't just appear out of thin air. It's caused by an underlying problem: poor movement. If you don't correct this, then the pain will never subside, and the doctors don't go in depth enough to figure out these problems in you. Like I said, I'm not saying all doctors are bad, and that there's not saying that there's not a spot for medications in the world, because they can both be very helpful. But you cannot look at them as the answer to all your problems. They do not dive deep down to solve these underlying issues, and if you don't get these fixed, then you'll always experience that suffering. You have to take responsibility upon yourself to be able to take the extra steps necessary to improve your health. It is your body, and it's the only one you'll ever get. So don't rely upon factory-made drugs or another person to keep you going. Make the changes needed to keep yourself going for as long as you can and as healthy as you can. Once you realize that the only person in control of that is you, then you'll already be one step ahead of everyone else. Make everything you do intentional, and you'll be heading in the right direction. You may have spent years heading in the wrong direction. Once you take these steps and start heading the right way, you're going to cover some ground, but you're going to have a lot more to go to get where you want to be. But don't use that as an excuse. Use it as motivation to work even harder. You can make progress, or you can make excuses, but you can't make both.